Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett. Oh no, I think I'm about to have another episode.
Folks, I always like to do a little sound check before I start my show, and every now and then I include it just for some fun, so you can hear what happens behind the scenes, that I'm not just a weirdo when talking to you, I'm always a weirdo. Yeah, testing, 1, 2, 3. My dog sometimes has to go outside and go potty. Okay, folks, let's get her done. It's show number 81. All right, this is the Renovating Retirement Podcast, not some other podcast you may be cheating on me and listening to. This is the one and only Renovating Retirement Podcast with whistleblower Charlie Jewett. I'd call myself an industry expert, but that's just not humble. I'm just a dude who's studied a lot of stuff for 11 years and found a lot of terrible things that the industry is doing to you, and thought I'd blow the whistle because I care more about you than I do people lining their pockets. This is episode 81 called The Problem of Reverse Dollar Cost Averaging. People, the entire reason for retirement planning is that one day you're going to stop working, you're going to enter 30 to 40 years of unemployment, and you've got to have an income coming from somewhere. The most popular way that people do that, by far the most popular way that people do that, is that they put their money into mutual funds with a joker broker. You're going to be at one of the big brand name companies that I don't mention by name, but you would recognize all of them. So you're with a brand name mutual fund retail salesman, basically, that sells just certain mutual funds because they give the company a kickback. There's even a disclosure on their website that's hidden from you and sometimes moved called a revenue sharing agreement. You can ask for a copy of it. The revenue sharing agreement in layman's terms is going to say, we're going to steer you not into what's best for you, but into just a select group of mutual funds because those companies either pay us extra money, or they come in and bring us lunch, or they pay for marketing campaigns that generate leads, interested families, so that we make more money. Basically, the disclosure says we're not going to do what's best for you. We do not have a fiduciary responsibility on purpose. We only have to do something that's, quote, suitable. Basically, they're legally allowed to rip you off, hurt you in retirement. But enough of that. Let me get off my soapbox before I slip. Most people have their money in variable investments, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds that's going up and down, and they're trying to take an income out. They're taking distributions from their IRAs or from their brokerage accounts and hoping they don't run out of money. Why in the world would the number one fear of retirees be running out of money if they were doing anything besides what I just mentioned? With annuities, you can't run out of money, you can't run out of income, so that certainly wouldn't create that fear. With rental properties, like Bill Manicero on the episode where I interviewed Bill Manicero, with rental properties coming in, if you do multiple doors, meaning you don't just own like 3 single-family residences, but you have 100, 200, 300, or whatever he's going after, 1,000 doors, I think it is. If you have multiple rental properties paying rent every month, you're certainly not going to run out of income. The only way that the number one fear of retirees could become running out of money is if most retirees are gambling with their retirement income and putting it into stocks, bonds, and mutual funds at the encouragement of some joker broker who's making a ton of money on you, because those are the only places that if you run out of money, you run out of income. So this is a very apropos show because almost everybody, including a very close family member of mine who retired in 1999 and then had to come out of retirement and go back to work for 13 more years because of exactly what I'm about to teach you. Reverse dollar cost averaging is a giant issue, okay? As you're probably aware, the stock market went absolutely nowhere during the 2000 to the end of the 2009 decade. January 1, 2000 to December 31st, New Year's Eve, 2009. This has led to the 10-year period, that 10-year period being known as the lost decade. So anytime you hear me talk about the lost decade, it's from 2000 to 2010, basically, okay? In a USA article, author Adam Schell says, "Indeed, A dollar investment in the S&P 500 index on December 31st, 1999 was worth roughly 90 cents at the end of 2009, and that negative return, that 10% negative return, includes dividend income, which is one of the benefits of investing in the S&P index. Now, that's without taking any money out of your account for income. What about retirees, though? What about the group of people that I'm talking to? What about the people trying to survive off of their nest egg during this 30 to 40 year period of unemployment? What if you were invested in the market and trying to take an income from your accounts at the same time? Like countless retirees, really the majority of retired people are doing exactly that. This is when reverse dollar cost averaging will show up in a big, incredibly negative way and potentially crush your retirement dreams. Am I telling you that there's going to be another lost decade for the next 10 years? Or we're going to have one 5 years? I cannot predict the future. What I'm telling you is that you should not be gambling with your retirement income. If you worked 30, 40, 50 years and you saved enough money to live off of for the rest of your life, do you realize how foolish it would be to then gamble and just cross your fingers that you can actually do that? Why would anybody do that unless multiple billions of dollars were being spent by the joker brokers pushing propaganda and lies telling you that that's the only way to go? And it's not. The stock market has not beat annuity growth over the last 15 years. The stock market has not beat cash value life insurance growth over the last 15 years. They are liars for profit. I'm sorry if you don't like my attitude. I'm sorry if you don't like my conviction. I hate liars. Go to my Instagram account. I have a picture that says, I hate liars. I think the number one, the first time you're caught lying, you should go to jail. The second time, they should cut out your tongue. Lying hurts people. It should not be allowed. We do not have freedom of speech in this country. We have the freedom to lie to each other and hurt each other. Everybody in Bumble Nowhere, Idaho cannot be the number one realtor in Bumble Nowhere, Idaho. We are allowed to lie when marketing to people, and that is not okay. Now, dollar cost averaging. You were talking about reverse dollar cost averaging. We might as well define dollar cost averaging. So let's do a little bit of a review. Essentially, dollar cost averaging means that you buy a fixed dollar amount of a particular investment on a regular schedule. Maybe you buy $1,000 of Apple stock every quarter. Or maybe you put $6,000 per year into an IRA that then buys the S&P 500 index or buys a selection of mutual funds that your retail mutual fund salesman makes a kickback on. Either way, even though they're screwing you, it's still an example of dollar cost averaging. Since the price of any stock or mutual fund fluctuates, during some years you're going to pay a high price. Maybe you pay $50 a share. And during other years, you're going to pay a lower price, maybe $15 a share when it's really down. According to the dollar cost averaging theory, over a number of years, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, doesn't matter, you should get an average price for the stock. So if you added up all the stocks you bought and all the prices you paid and divided it by the number of stocks, you're going to end up with an average price that you paid for your shares, hence the name dollar cost averaging. So, understanding that, reverse dollar cost averaging, like dollar cost averaging, involves a fixed dollar amount of money during a specified time period. Now, typically this is going to be retirement, as long as you live, basically. With dollar cost averaging, you invest a fixed amount of money every year, or it could be every 3 months, 6 months, doesn't matter, depending on your preferences. It's typically yearly when we're looking at it this way. With reverse dollar cost averaging, though, you're withdrawing, not investing, you're not buying. You're withdrawing and selling a certain amount of money every year. So, in retirement, if you're taking an income off of accounts where your holdings are stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, the only way to get that money into a cash position where you can take it out is to sell the stocks, the bonds, or the mutual funds, and you're going to sell them at different prices. If you take the same amount every month, or the same amount every 3, 6 months, or 12 months, the stocks are worth different things. The mutual funds are worth different things. You're going to get a different sale price every time you sell. Now, the stock market can go for periods of 10 or even 15 years with no growth or no return over that time frame. It might bounce around, but it starts here, ends here, and there was no growth. It may even have a negative return over a decade or a half a decade. And now this is using historical data from the past. We don't even have any data on what the stock market performs like when the largest group of people in the United States, the baby boomers, are retiring at $10,000 a day and taking their money out of the stock market by selling their positions. They're not putting money into stocks anymore. They're selling stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. None of the data shows us what the stock market's going to do when this happens. However, you could just be very basic and say, while the biggest group of people were purchasing stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, it drove the prices up. What might be likely to happen if the largest group of people stops purchasing stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and actually sells them? Could it drive prices down? It very well could. We don't know, but it's certainly a probability. It's a possibility. Let me even downgrade my own statement, make it less obnoxious. It's a possibility. And in retirement planning, you have to plan for all possibilities. Isn't that why we carry a spare tire in our cars and pay the extra gas to lug that thing around all the time? Isn't it a possibility that you run over a nail, or that your tire wears out and blows when you're on your way to work and you'd like to get there? Yes, people, we must prepare for all possible scenarios. Long life, short life, rough life, sick life, and into the next life. The entire 5 lives of retirement model is saying, what are all the things that might happen and how do I be ready for everything? So what if you'd been withdrawing $36,000 per year during a 15-year period during which the stock market was flat? With no gains in your account at all, your retirement funds would have lost $540,000 of value. I don't care how much money you start with. Well, let me take that back. If you start with $16 trillion and you lose $500,000, you're probably going to be fine. But if you're a normal person who retires with whatever, your nest egg, and you lose $500,000 and there's no gains over that 15-year period, you might be in trouble. Maybe not if you have 10 or 15 million, but if you have 1 million or 2 million, it could be getting kind of tight. And I'm not even factoring in the fees here, my friends. If you're like most retirees, if you have money invested with a name brand joker broker who's put you into a very select group of mutual funds that they choose for their own benefit because they get paid to sell them. Not my opinion, it's what the revenue sharing agreement discloses directly to you. They say we will rip you off and we get paid for it. We don't have a fiduciary responsibility to do what's right for you. If that's what's happening, you're going to have the fees not only to pay for their advice, which is often about 1%, but you're going to have fees inside of the mutual funds as well, and a lot of them are not legally required to be disclosed to you. There are fees, people, you are paying that you do not know about. Go to my website, www.jewett.wealth.com, Jewett wealth.com. You can download the article on mutual funds and fees, and you're going to see that the average mutual fund has a fee inside of it of probably 2 to 3% that is not required to be revealed to you by law. You are paying it. Trust me, you are paying it. But it doesn't have to be disclosed to you. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If you have more than $50,000 in your retirement accounts, you have no business, zero business at all being invested in mutual funds. That's like being 63 years old and seeing a pediatrician for your medical needs. Or it's like driving a nail into a wall using a screwdriver. The tool does not exist. The mutual fund tool was not created to take large accounts above $50,000 and grow them and make them larger at an efficient, low-fee way. It exists for taking small amounts of money, $200 a month for a young person, and allowing for diversification that you cannot get any other way, but it comes at a very, very steep cost. Read the article, and you're going to see that you're paying another 2 to 3% inside your mutual funds, 2 to 3% fees, along with the 1% fee that you're paying your manager. Now, if your manager is only charging you 0.5%, don't turn off the podcast. Everything I'm teaching is still true. There are fees that are going to hurt you. You got to understand them. This is a giant portion of Tony Robbins' 600-page book, Money, Master the Game. I'm in the middle of it. I'm loving it. It is essential reading material if you're a reader. If not, you can just listen to the podcast because I'm going to teach you everything he's teaching me. Okay, so if you're being charged 1% for investment advice, and that advisor sticks you into mutual funds that cost another 2%, let's just go on the low end. Forget the 3%. Let's go 2%. Before you take any money out of your accounts for income, you're already down 3% per year. Now, let's just use the lost decade from January 2000 to December 2009, when your money did not only not grow because the market didn't go anywhere, but it went down by 10% over that time. And imagine that you have 3% fees are coming out, and also you're taking out a 4% withdrawal percentage, which isn't even safe any longer. The guy that created the 4% rule says you can't do it anymore. His name's William Bengen. You have to lower it to 2.8%. So if you have $1 million, you can take an income of $28,000 a year. If you're not using annuities and you try to use mutual funds and stocks, whoop-de-doo, $28,000 a year. But a lot of people don't know that. They still try to take out 4%. So they got 4% coming out for their distributions, their income, and then they've got 1% going to their money manager, 2% inside the mutual funds. You've got 7% coming out of your account in a time where it's not making any money. If your account started at $1 million, the 1% advisor fee would be $10,000 that year. The 2% mutual fund fees that they don't have to reveal to you eats up another $20,000 inside your accounts that you don't even know why. And you take out $40,000 or 4% for your income, so you're down $70,000 the first year. Just your $40,000 annual distribution over 10 years during the lost decade from 2000 to 2010, that'll lower your account by $400,000. Your advisor fees and mutual fund fees, now they're going to get less and less and less because they're based on percentages. As your account goes down, they're going to be less, but they're going to be at least another $200,000 over your time frame. It was $30,000 for the first year, so that'd be $300,000 over 10 years, but they're going down a little bit. Let's just call it $200,000. So in just one 10-year period, when the market does something weird, your $1 million account, your nest egg, the only thing you have to live on during 30, 40 years of unemployment, goes down to $400,000 or less. You took out $400,000 in income, $200,000 came out in fees and advisor fees. That's a total of $600,000 coming off of $1 million. You've got $400,000 or less left to live off of for the rest of your life. Folks, the stock market does not always go up. All the data we have is from when the baby boomers were putting money in, not taking it out, or before they even existed, when the market and the world was in a completely different place. We're going into a different set of statistics. We're going into different weather, people. Go back and listen to the Weather Report podcast. We're going into different conditions. You can't take 4, 5, 6, or 7% out of a stock portfolio and have any prayer of your money lasting as long as you do. If you share this fear with other retirees, if one of the fears, I don't care if it's your number one fear, but if one of the fears in your life is running out of money before you run out of the need for income, and what I mean by that is you're out of money and you're still alive. If that's a fear of yours, you have to have annuities in your life. I'm not an annuity guy. I'm not trying to pitch annuities. I carry an insurance license. I carry a Series 65 investment advisory license on purpose. I used to have a real estate license, used to have a mortgage license. I had a tax license here in California. I've studied estate planning. I am telling you, this tool, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, cannot guarantee that you're going to have income as long as you need it, and there are other tools that do. You should have a tool belt full of every tool you need, just like any great carpenter, any great electrician is going to do. As a retiree, you need a tool belt, a financial plan, full of bank products, insurance products, annuities, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds if you want them in your life for the excitement. And there's other tools that can be added as well. all of the tools do something wonderful. There's no one food in the world that gives you all the nutrition you would ever need, so you never have to eat another food. If there was, it would be kale. And who would want to eat kale at every meal anyway, even if it could give you everything you need? Anyway, peoples, I hope you understand the problem of reverse dollar cost averaging, where you're taking money out of your accounts at regular intervals, selling off your stocks, bonds, and mutual funds at different prices. However, the fees, times where the market does not grow, and the fact that you're taking money out and it's not there when the market goes up will devour your accounts, and they will probably run out before you do, unless you're only taking out 1 or 2%. Hopefully this helps. I try to help you all the time on the Renovating Retirement Podcast. You can follow me on Facebook, Jewett Wealth Management, or Renovating Retirement. You can go to listentoCharlie.com, watchcharlie.com, learnfromcharlie.com. There's a whole bunch of other ones I don't remember right now, but you can find me all over the place. Just put Charlie Jewett into Google, CharlieJewett, and you should come up with 3 pages of me. Didn't mean to rhyme, but let's see how far I can take this crazy. Can't rhyme that one. Anyway, I think you people are the best.
Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett.
But that's all, folks.